Thanks so much for the challenge. I'm kind of interested too. I had no idea you would target that.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, yeah, it's awesome.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started because I want to make sure that we can all remember the kind of things. And I don't know, did you guys get the email that went out about the Facebook marketing? Okay. Seems like you forgot. But so I got a letter when I came in today from the Barnes & Noble's manager that kind of runs the events in this room. And it basically says that they've been allowing groups to use this room for years on end for free. And I guess the store manager has been running numbers, and they count foot traffic that comes in. And when big groups come to meet, they're not seeing improvement on store sales. So as a business perspective, obviously, they have to kind of make a decision on what they're going to be doing with this. So first of all, no meetup here in the center. This room will be converted into something for merchandising for the Christmas season. That's already been pre-warned on that. I asked about November for next month because November, it's the 7th. It's the first Tuesday. It ends up to be on the 7th. So they do not have anything planned on that night. So as of right now, we are available to meet next month on this.
We're being evicted.
Oh, well, not necessarily. Because what's weird is when I signed up for the room, what was it? This has been 4 years, 3 or 4 years now. When I first signed up for the room, the rules are you cannot pitch or sell anything other than their stuff. Okay, so that makes sense. It had to be free and open to the public. Anybody could come. It had to be very community oriented. Yeah, so, and basically we had to clean up and leave the room the way it was after, which we do. So we follow all the rules throughout time. And so the letter that they sent says, well, you know, some of the larger groups charge a fee to have them meet. I think they mentioned specifically at Toastmasters groups that are using it. And this one of the suggestions was charge the members to come in so that we could compensate maybe $50 an evening, which is very reasonable. If that's what all they want, I mean, $50. I mean, the library is like $130 or something to use it per night, and they have all these rules and restrictions. We need to have insurance and all this other stuff that's put together, but they really want sales. Bottom line, that's one of the main things that they want. So she said, you know, what about recommending people buy, you know, something from the cafe before they're coming in? One of my suggestions or ideas is completely on the honor system. Is what if we did charge $3 for everybody to come in, but we would have coffee and pastries for you to take whatever value you want up to that. I don't really care on that. Now, if we have a group of 20, it's not going to cost me $60 for the coffee and donuts and stuff that's going to come from their cafe. So say if we spent $20 on the coffee and donuts and we had an extra $40 at the end of the evening, I would run it by a gift card and we raffle it off. So all the money that comes in goes straight back to the store for that evening. And you know, it'd be, so that's an idea. That's the kind of stuff that we're kind of thinking of that could happen, that we'd be looking at. The other thing is that I do promise to buy books from them, and I also promise to push books, which I've done anyway without even time. But the book that I asked them to bring, she brought in, and before they even got to the group, it got sold because so many people are talking about the book right now. So I want to. This is something I wanted to talk about anyway, even if they were, because it's called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. They will have copies in about 4 or 5 days here. So that's kind of their loss because I told them I highly recommend this. But it is, I've always been studying, even I had John talk about the fear of success, the fear of failure, different levels that actually stop people from actually being successful. And this book here, this guy, Gay Hendricks, did a lot of stuff. He's a professor at some school as well. He talks to something about what's called the upper limit problem. And what happens is that people work I'm not going to go too much into it because there's podcasters right now in the internet marketing field, the biggest podcasters, Ray Edwards, what's his name, Cliff Ravenscraft. They're talking week after week about the same book and about the changes that's going in their businesses and how much it's affecting them. And they said it works for anybody and anything, and not only with business but relationships. So basically, the concept of the whole book is everybody has an upper limit problem. Everybody. It doesn't matter whether you realize it or not. And a lot of times it comes with income. And people will self-sabotage their lifestyle when they get too comfortable and get too happy. And what happens is subconsciously the body says, even being ecstatic and happy and really at a different level in income and everything else is uncomfortable for your subconscious because it's not the norm. So your body will, or your thing subconsciously will start to try to regulate itself back. And it can manifest itself even in physical problems. So I have never been able to figure out, one thing that's just been totally enlightening to me is, I don't know why it is, but every once in a while when I have to do big speech presentations, I don't have a problem speaking in front of people, obviously. I mean, I like to talk. But when I have to do a planned presentation, I joined Toastmasters specifically to go in and get better at presenting and planning presentations. When I do it, and I do a very good job, when I'm done with it, I get this burning cold sensation in my stomach that lasts for about 4 or 5 hours. It literally feels like I swallowed a hot piece of coal. And thank goodness, it's always after I'm done. And I could never figure out why. Why did that always happen? Last month, after we had our meetup, when I got home, I had this major pounding headache. And lo and behold, I guess that's some of the symptoms that happen to upward and problems. Subconsciously, your body says, or you have this belief somewhere that you don't deserve to be unhappy, or that something's, it basically punishes you for being a successful level at certain points. So that's one of the things that he talks about. That's one of the main concepts about this book that I highly recommend people look into. There's another thing called, has anybody read this book? Okay, so there's another concept called Einstein time. And it's at the end of the book that he starts talking about this, on how you control time. And it's almost, I don't know, kind of like weird on how, if you make a decision on how you're going to control your time, you can actually have more time in your life. And how it's kind of, I'm actually listening to the book. I've already gone through it once. I like it so much, and these podcasters that are talking about that it takes the second time around, that I actually asked you to order like 3 or 4 copies. And like I said, they all sold out before they even got their studio. It's still part of the same book. Oh, it's in this book. Yeah, it's for the end of the book. So he talks about that. It's called Einstein time. And you can basically make time for yourself. You just appear just because of my thought and my process. So it's one of those weird things as well. But the reason why I'm buying the physical book is because they both recommend you both read and you take notes and you just kind of dissect the book because of the concepts that are in there. Not necessarily new. I mean, everybody, I've heard about the fear of success and the fear of failure and eliminating problems. He really does break it down in a different way that's more understandable and examples that happen and why people physically get problems and other issues. An author that got actually promoted really big on something that he had written that was going to go, you know what they call the Oprah effect. If it gets shared, it was going to go crazy. He got so ecstatic about it that all of a sudden he started getting back pains. He couldn't figure out why, but he had read this book and he started to think about it. And longevity is the limit. When he started thinking about it, the back pain went. And it's one of those things that once you realize it, it can actually possibly help. And I have been working with a mentor that's to try to figure this out not for me, but with me. Why is it that I feel as though every time that we've had monstrous successes in various good times in my life, that it seems as though that I need a self-sabotage? I told that my favorite success is every time that I've had big successes, we invested in real estate, I made a couple $100,000, at a time when we actually started selling off everything, and then lost it all. I basically made bad investments after that. And there's just time after time the things that can happen where I seem to be self-sabotaging high levels of success. Now, thank goodness, every time I recover, I've learned a lot from past things, so I just figure it's a learning lesson. Some of them very expensive. But this is one of the things, when you come across business and you start feeling success, if you start to understand that you can self-sabotage yourself so easily, it can protect you in a lot of different ways. So I told her if she wasn't able to sell it, I would sell it for her. Like, I would go buy it because I think it's that important that people If you ever wonder why you haven't been successful, something seems to be stopping you, figure out why. This book will probably help you with that as well. So that's one reason. This is the book that I'm recommending. The other one is I've not read simple concept of profit first. For anybody who ever plans to go into doing business for themselves, but it also can work with your personal finances, this book is really cut and dry, very simple. Pay yourself first. The concepts behind it, why it works, and how to make it work, because once you start paying for yourself first, your whole business structure will be different. 90% of the people do business wrong. They basically, especially entrepreneurs, and I am guilty of this myself as well, we take paychecks for months because we were paying all of our expenses, everything else first. It said, most businesses, if they switch that mindset around and pay themselves first and then pay them, they would have actually restructured their business differently because they wouldn't be in the fortune things, and it could actually get them through longer periods to get out and to get the momentum they need later on because you can survive it. So that's one book I also would recommend. This one I'm actually going through, or having read it for a while, Persuasion, one of the most powerful sales tools out there. And it's about how you, honestly, this book should have a warning, because if you start using concepts like this, it's almost like how con artists are able to just manipulate your mind to get people to do things. And you can use, if you're using sales in a better way to betterment other people, or you're convincing somebody they should take medicine or something like that, because it's good for their health, but they don't want to take it, and then, they're finding certain key terms and words and phrases and your body language can actually influence people to go ahead and do things. So Robert Cialdini also wrote a book called Influence, which is a phenomenal book as well in marketing. But he came across this book called, this concept called persuasion, what you do before. So this is what you do before you say something to influence somebody, to get them in the mindset that will be that much easier for you to make a sale. Like I said, it's almost kind of dangerous if you think about it. So if anybody's really interested in it and you're eager to get it, you can walk out the door with one of these books. These are for sale. Okay. But yeah, if you're starting to do business, if you're getting brand new to business, I recommend this one. I also need to read, but they don't have that. This one on how to structure to make sure that you're actually financially seeking yourself out. That persuasion, there's so I can't even explain. I've only gone through the first 2 chapters, and it's mind blowing on just the simple things that I say the word "we" to start off, or get a relationship like, hey, people like us. Saying those words together immediately, subconsciously opens the trust factor to people, and they don't even realize that. That's how he kind of starts off the book, to make you realize. And he gives great examples of it too. So that's one thing about Robert Cialdini. He's been studying the art of influence and persuasion for so long. So many examples of different tests that he's done and different studies that he's done for marketing purposes as well. So those are okay, so this is another book that influenced. Again, another book that I highly recommend. This is the first book that he wrote. The Persuasion came after it. Okay, so for those of you who have not come to the group before, welcome. This is a very casual atmosphere, so if you have any questions along the way, tonight we have a special guest presenting on a very specific marketing niche technique, or what he's found out about it as well. So this will be Q&A. Yeah, so if you want to ask questions, you're welcome to that. But the main goal of this group is, if you are interested in finding out how to get past certain hurdles of making money on the internet, that's what we're here for. So I encourage people, if you have questions throughout the month before our next meeting, write down questions and bring them here, because usually, and this is pretty typical, 1/3 of the room is usually new, 1/3 is intermediate, where they've been doing it a little while, and then the other 1/3 is more advanced, that actually have been making profits on their businesses. Now, I know for those of you who've been in for the past few months, I've been talking about Pinterest and moving forward with it. I don't have a product to promote yet, so I can't even test anything. But I am going to start developing and going into my Amazon product is finally down to 1 piece. So I'm going to go ahead and start a whole new product line, but it's going to be almost from scratch. It's going to cost a lot of money to get started. So until I get that going, Pinterest is a perfect platform for it. I found out that like my kids' website, my template, has tens of thousands of repins. So I'm going to be utilizing that site for marketing channel to go and and I'm building up a kind of like a monopoly cash set.
That's incredible.
So yeah, we're going to be moving forward with that too.
The things that you are recording, is that on your website so that we can watch it, like not streaming, but later on?
So this actually is recorded. As soon as we're done at the end of the evening,
So I can go home and watch it.
yes, but unfortunately, the audio is not that great. So just keep that in mind. You can hear it. People have listened to it, and I keep forgetting to bring the mic. And hopefully next month I can remember.
Because I missed last month, I wanted to.
Yeah, it's recording. So just go. Oh, so Steven, by the way, is rebuilding the SCV Internet Marketers website. It's been on the 2011 theme for WordPress. So it's like 6 years. I don't even know if it's like mobile friendly, but it's only to store the videos up there. So if you ever want to go and watch some videos, just go to the scvinternetmarketers.com website. Okay. So I don't know, how many of you use Facebook Messenger? Oh, okay. So I have found that when people don't know my email address, they will find me on Facebook friendly typically, and I usually accept most of the ones I recognize them. And then they'll start contacting me through Messenger because I get notified on my phone that someone has that. And I was wondering why they don't email. They use this because I don't have my email, so I usually give it to them. That is usually the only time I use Facebook Messenger. Unless I don't have somebody else's email, then I'll do this process that. But I didn't realize that. When looking up the subject so that I could kind of get an idea of, I guess, a presentation or a pre-presentation to get a handle on it, there's over 1 billion people that use Facebook Messenger actively to communicate. And in fact, some people use it almost exclusively without even using email. They'd rather just use Messenger itself. So it's a very powerful tool. I had no idea that many people use it because I don't know if you're a social media type of person that's out there. So the more I look into it, the more I realize how powerful this can be because you have direct connection. And he's going to cover some of the stats on this stuff, on the open rates that you can get, and some of the things. So thank you, Howard, very much for actually sharing this because there's not a lot of people who are really utilizing this and sharing what they're finding in this kind of information on there. So Alvaro Barrios, welcome.
Good. All right, so when it comes to the topic of Facebook Messenger marketing, there's kind of 3 tiers to cover, and I'm going to cover. Oh, I just like that.
Utilizing.
How do I change that? Sorry.
What dinner?
I just wanted the whole presentation to pop up. So presentation format. This one I can just do it like that. That's it. So there's really 3 tiers to the topic of Facebook Messenger marketing. There's Facebook Messenger itself, what it's used for, how many people are using it. There's chatbots, which are very much more prevalent in optimizing the communication between a business and consumer. And then Messenger ads themselves, which are a somewhat new ad type within Facebook. I'll talk into how old they are and what their impact is and so on. But as Chris mentioned earlier, there's a lot of people on Facebook Messenger. So here as of April 2017, there are 1.2 billion monthly active users on Facebook Messenger. Now that's a lot, so a billion would be. So when you think about that, there's a ton of people that are getting on Facebook Messenger every day and communicating with both businesses and consumers. If you look at this chart right here, this is the overall popularity of messaging apps as a whole. And this really shocked me. So the top 4 messaging apps have actually surpassed the top 4 social media networks. So top 4 messaging apps are Messenger, WhatsApp, QQ Mobile, and then I forget the 4th one. Anyway, those 4 messaging apps have more monthly active users than Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those combined, or the top 4, I should say, compared to the top 4 messaging apps. So that is really, really impressive, because obviously people are starting to move away from older forms of communication, such as email and texting, and moving towards these messaging apps themselves.
Why do you think that is?
You know, so for me personally, I have a lot of family that lives in other countries, and so for me, it's just easier for me to message them on WhatsApp or Facebook, for example. I can't text them directly and stuff like that. And so that's my personal use for them. I mean, I think also it's just more of a trend in terms of demographics. The younger demographic just simply doesn't like email, right? They prefer these messaging platforms.
I have a question. How many of you are on Skype? How many of you are not on Skype? Okay, so Skype is actually one thing. If you've ever tried to get somebody to use Skype, because it's a really good, like you said, messaging site, you can talk. It can be really difficult to get somebody to use Skype. And I mean, it's a very convenient platform, but in the business world, a lot more of us are. So other platforms are actually not as easy. Messages already on Facebook. So if somebody's on Facebook, they can message. That's, I think, one of the reasons why it's actually popular.
Have you ever tried Zoom?
No.
No.
It's like people use it for web conferencing, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, I have used it for phone. Yes, I have it for radio.
50 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So actually, and going back to your question earlier, here is very telling graphic in terms of demographics. So here it's showing email versus messenger for different age groups. So 13 to 24, 25 to 44, and 45 plus. So if you look at 45 plus, they use email a little bit more than messaging apps. Once you get to the 25 to 44 group, the messaging apps already surpass email as a communication. And then when you get to 13 to 24, I mean, messaging apps blow email out of the water. So people aren't getting any younger, and so this trend is only going to continue where the usage of email amongst consumers is going to decrease, and the usage of messaging apps will increase over time, or continue to increase. But as a disclaimer, this does not mean email is dead. An email list is still very important and valuable to business. So I don't want this to make everyone feel like they need to sacrifice their email list in order to build a messaging audience, whether it be in Facebook or another platform. Email is still very important. It's never going to go away. It simply means that messaging apps are offering another means of communication that will become more prevalent and prominent, and people will use it in tandem with email and a bunch of other stuff, obviously, in the future. We never know what's going to come out. All right, so what does this mean for your business? As mentioned previously, people's preferences are changing. According to Facebook, over 1 billion messages are sent between people and businesses on Messenger every single month. So instead of calling, more and more people prefer messaging a business. So they'll log on to their Facebook account or app, whatever it is, device that they're using. They'll go to a business's Facebook generation simply doesn't like to speak on the phone. That's why they always have their heads down and they're always texting. And now they're doing that behavior not just amongst friends, but also with businesses as well. So really important stats to note here. 53% of users say they are more likely to shop with a business they can message. 67% expect they will message businesses more frequently over the next 2 years. And out of 9 different methods to communicate with a business, messaging is ranked number 2. So again, this is actually only going to grow in its impact over time. And that first one, I feel, is the most important one, that 53% of users say are more likely to shop with a business that they can message. So in other words, if you're not active on Facebook Messenger, you're potentially losing out on a ton of sales because people will simply go to your Facebook page, see that maybe you're not active on Messenger or you don't have a bot set up or anything like that. And so they're simply going to go to one of your competitors that does offer messaging and shop with them. So that is really, really important to keep in mind. Yes.
So does that mean because they think that, okay, so they're going to message you and you're going to message them back?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
You
So
talking about
it's
instant messaging?
No, so here I'm talking about Facebook Messenger.
Which
Right.
means you leave it and you don't expect to hear back for an hour or two or a day.
It depends how you set it up. So you can, and I'll get into this a little bit more, but so you can set it up where they leave a message and yeah, you get back to them in an hour or two or whenever you're available, or you can set up an automated response that helps them with whatever their question is right in that moment. So I'll get into that in a few more slides.
But that's the whole point, is that you're having interaction with them. And they like that.
Yes,
right?
yes, absolutely. Yeah, because I mean, for example, you might have Facebook Messenger, set up and everything, but we'll message you. If they don't get a reply, then they don't care that you're technically on Messenger. They're not going to shop with you, right? They want a response, right? It's just just think about it. It's replacing phone calls. Instead of calling customer service really quickly and having a quick question, people prefer just to message on Facebook, get an answer, and then move on with their day.
So that's replacing chat, just
Well, what do you mean by chat?
Live chat.
go to a website and
The chat box.
pop.
Oh yeah,
That pops
absolutely,
up.
yeah. I mean, think about it. How many hours do people spend on Facebook Day versus how many hours they spend on a certain website, right?
Any other
Right. People spend tons and tons of time on Facebook, and Facebook, their goal is always to change the platform so that people spend more time on it. I mean, anytime they do an update, it's so that they can get people to spend more time on Facebook. It's kind of like a drug if you think about it. Very effective one for Facebook. But yeah, their number one goal. Whenever you hear Mark Zuckerberg come out with changes or plans, it always relates it back to what can Facebook do to get people to stay on Facebook for longer.
What works?
All right, and the cool thing about using Facebook Messenger for your business is that it's actually used for all the funnel stages, right? It can be used for consideration, converting, and connecting. So in the consideration phase, people can ask questions. In the converting phase, they can actually make a purchase. Now that's not available globally to everyone, but Facebook is ruling out where, for example, if you sell, specific products and services, especially if you're an e-commerce site or something like that, eventually everyone's going to be able to buy products just within Messenger itself. So they actually never have to leave Facebook. They do all their shopping within Facebook Messenger, make the purchase right there, and then boom, they're good. And then obviously connecting, so just following up with people afterwards, announcing certain flash sales, or really interesting usages I've seen, for example, is when someone does order something on Facebook Messenger, they'll actually get their shipping updates on Messenger as well. So, typically, for example, when you buy something on Amazon, Amazon will give you an email updating when your product is shipped, this, that, and the other. So, but instead of having that all in email, Facebook is setting up so it all happens in Messenger. So every stage of the funnel, they're optimizing Messenger to be there for consumer experience. All right, so how do you integrate Messenger? So my recommendation is to use a chat bot. So this goes back to what you were asking earlier, right? You can manage your own Facebook Messenger for your business, but how much time do you have a day to sit there and answer a bunch of people's questions? Most of us probably don't have that time. You have other, more pressing issues to take care of. So what's becoming much more prominent is the usage of chatbots. And what these are artificial intelligence software programs that integrate seamlessly with Facebook Messenger. And you can set them up any way you want, right? So if you want to have FAQs answered in your bot, you can set it up that way. If you want people to be able to shop for products on your bot, you can set it up that way. If you want people to take a quiz, actually, so that you can start separating out people who are coming to your website and put people in buckets, that way you can then send out messages to those different buckets later on. You can set it up that way. So bots are increasingly becoming much more important in optimizing the Messenger experience, because as we showed earlier, people are more likely to shop with you if you're active on Messenger. And most of us probably don't have time to be on Messenger all day. So the best way and easiest way, most efficient way to be active on Messenger is to use a bot. And right here, every day, more than 375,000 people engage with bots. And that number is going to continue to climb. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to be surprised if by sometime in 2018, that stat goes to 1 million people interacting with bots every single day. And 2018 is just around the corner.
Are you going to recommend some bots to us?
Yes, I certainly will.
And what does bot stand for?
Robot, yeah, exactly. So it's a digital robot. Think of it that way. Yeah.
Do you know if they have any type of app to integrate, like for example, like on my site, I have a live chat. Is there any way to actually integrate like a Facebook Messenger on the site? That way.
Yes, absolutely. So I think, is this probably the next slide? No, okay. So I get into my chatbot recommendations a little bit later, but I'll just jump into that right now. So there's several chatbots out there that can be utilized. The two big ones are ManyChat and ChatFuel. Now I've used both, and between the two of those, I definitely recommend ManyChat.
Should we be writing this down, or do you have any kind of backup info that we can go to later with this information on it?
I mean, the recording is going to be up.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I'll write it down. That's nice. I'll write it down.
Any chat was the other one?
ChatFuel, ManyChat and ChatFuel. So like I said, I've used them both. I definitely recommend ManyChat over ChatFuel, simply because it has, in my opinion, a much easier interface to manage and set up your chatbot. Its visualizations to see the flow of conversation with a bot are just way better than they are in ChatFuel. And going back to your question, they do have an integration for your website. So if you want people to message you on Messenger from your website, you just put this piece of code from ManyChat, and then this little pop-up will come and say, hey, do you want to talk to us on Messenger? They click on that, and then their Messenger app opens up.
So when they send it to you, it'll pop up in your Facebook?
Well, I mean, yeah, their Facebook, or if they have the Messenger app installed on their phone, because remember, there's actually two separate apps. There's the Facebook app, and then there's the Messenger app. Even though they're part of the same company, the Messenger app is separate from Facebook. So it'll just open up right there.
So
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I thought he had something on.
in the context of this, which are you referring to? Facebook app or the standalone app? Then Messenger.
Well, so if you have that integration on your website, if you have the Messenger app installed, it'll open up the Messenger app. If you only have the Facebook app installed, it'll open up the Facebook app. Yeah.
And if you're at work and this is on your website, where does that message go to you?
So that you have to set it up however is more convenient for you. So you can just respond within Messenger itself, right? So if you're on your Facebook business account, right, you go to your inbox, you see your messages coming in, and you can answer right there. I know that there are some website chat companies, so the standard web chat that you see on a web page, they now have integrations with Messenger itself. So if you don't want to leave your current chat provider, a lot of them are starting to offer that now. I can't name any off the top of my head because I'm not super familiar with chat companies, but I know I've seen it that they're starting to offer Messenger integration. So depending on how you set it up, you either respond to them within Facebook or you should respond to them with your current chat tool that you have.
Are chatbots free?
Yeah, so they have a freemium model, meaning everyone can start off for free, and then as you grow or you want to start using certain integrations, you will have to pay. So for example, the Messenger integration on your website for ManyChat, I believe you have to subscribe to their premium subscription in order to use that. But they're fairly inexpensive for now, at least. So for example, for ManyChat, if you it starts off at $10 a month. That's the minimum. So I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not much.
We do a fairly poor job on Facebook, but we do a pretty good job on our internet site. I've got 7 or 8 salesmen just sitting there watching YouTube videos till the phone rings. And the person who's in charge of the Facebook thing is probably putting in 20 hours a day and really doing a banged up job of it. But can I get this on my website and have any one of my salesmen in several different locations see it and respond to it?
Yeah, so similar question to what was asked earlier. So you can always either respond to it within Facebook itself or with an integration you have with your current chat provider. So if you respond to it within Facebook itself, the way that works is that if you have a sales team of 7 people, then all 7 people will need access to your Facebook page. So not all businesses are comfortable with that, but if you are, then you just need to give everyone access to your
I'm okay with it.
Facebook
We
page.
don't have a chat provider, so.
Messenger.com, because that shows just the messages,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Can you switch to like just your company profile on Messenger.com? Do you know?
What do you
There's a whole
mean?
business manager of the Facebook thing, and you can add.
Right, no, but if you go to
Yeah.
Messenger.com, it shows the actual, it's just its own
Right,
application,
right.
just Messenger, and that's it.
Yeah.
Do you know if you can switch to the different accounts that you have?
Within the
Within just
Messenger.com
Messenger.com.
interface.
Yeah.
I've never tried that personally. I don't believe so, but I could be wrong. I've never tried that personally.
So I am new. I'm very much new. So can we look at that on an actual Facebook page?
Yeah. We'll get into some examples.
Good.
Yeah. I'm just trying to answer all the questions.
All right, I got another question for you. I guess it probably depends on maybe what type of like industry that you're in, but are you saying like, would you actually recommend the mini chat over than having like a regular chat on a website? I'm just asking for your opinion. I'm sure it probably.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the best way to go about it is if you already have a chat tool integrated on your website, I certainly wouldn't say, hey, get rid of that and only have Facebook Messenger. If you can do the dual integration of your current chat tool product with Messenger, I think that's the best way to go about it. Was that your question?
Yeah, so it sounded like this is pretty powerful stuff you're saying as far as the whole Facebook Messenger goes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're new, would you just go with a Facebook Messenger and just not even do with the website chat?
I mean, that's going to vary from business to business. So, for example, if your target audience is primarily on Facebook and they spend tons of time on Facebook and they never like to leave Facebook, then yeah, you could probably actually just get away with just having the Messenger option on your website. But at the end of the day, it's just really going to depend where your customers are coming from, what their preferences are, and stuff like that.
And you said so it's 13 to 24, correct? Is that the age group that
loves to use messaging apps? Yes.
And then the older doesn't?
I mean, it's an even split. So if we go back to that.
Because I'm not worried about the older.
Yeah, so I mean, it's an even split. Right here, you look at 45 plus. Email has a very slight edge, and then messaging is right there. Obviously, this age group, which definitely prefers messaging apps, is going to start getting older, and they're going to trickle into that age. And so over time, even if your target audience is currently over here, right, these people are going to start moving that way eventually, and they're going to be ones that prefer talking to a messenger. Yeah.
It sounds like if you use Messenger a lot and you integrate it on your website, everything's going to come through Messenger, so you don't have to go anywhere else. You can just, they're just notifying you on your Messenger app, and that'll be your tool to go and communicate back together. So, yeah, if you want to be bothered all the time, that'd be great.
Yeah. And the cool thing actually is, I should have mentioned this earlier, with your bot that you set up, assuming you do choose to set one up, everyone who messages you via Messenger, they will become a subscriber to your bot. So think of it as a bot subscriber, the same thing as an email subscriber, meaning that information will be stored in your bot, and if you want to reach out to them later on via Messenger, you can do that, just like you would in an email blast.
So the bot, does that cost money too?
So they operate on freemium models, so you can get started today and not pay anything. But for example, for ManyChat, which is the one I prefer, once your subscriber list gets above 500, then you have to sign up for the premium, which starts at $10.
ManyChat is a bot.
What was that?
It's a bot?
Yeah, that's the bot program.
That's the bot program.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so you just go to manychat.com, and then it's super easy to integrate. If you're signed into Facebook, literally it says, click here to integrate this bot with your Messenger, and then boom, you're done. It's that easy.
Awesome.
It's seamless, super
You want to put it
seamless.
on your site also, though, right?
What's that?
Should it go on your site also?
Yeah, so that's an advanced integration. You'd have to put a snippet of code in your website if you wanted to go on there as well. That's not automated, but yeah, I mean, I recommend having it on your website.
So if someone comes on my site and they don't have Messenger, will it still pop up for them? Like they can still respond, or they have to have Messenger?
Yeah, it'll pop up for them, but obviously if they don't have Messenger, they're not going to click on it, right? Because it'll be a thing that says, hey, you want to talk to us on Facebook Messenger? Click here, right? If they don't have Messenger, they just won't click there.
And you
There's
create
other
whatever the responses are from the bot.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So obviously every business is going to have different responses. So it all comes down to what your target audience is looking
Yes.
for.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, already got this. Next slide. All right. So here's some bot examples. Unfortunately, it's not very good here, so I apologize. But this is for Jack in the Box. So if you just go to Jack in the Box on Facebook and you start messaging them, they have a really cool bot right now that helps you satisfy your specific craving. And so it asks you a couple questions. You answer those questions. I went through that, and they recommend to me the bacon egg sandwich that they have right there. And so I thought that was a pretty fun bot to interact with. That's how they set theirs up. Here's one from the Wall Street Journal that asked me if I want to subscribe to their daily blast via Messenger. And then down here, again, I apologize for not, you can't see it too well here. Oh yeah, there we go. Thanks for messaging us. They try to be responsive. Would you like to receive a daily morning briefing? I said no, but you can click yes, and then boom, you're subscribed to their daily morning briefing, and you'll get that every morning within Messenger itself. But if I scroll down here, oops, that's not what I do.
Touchscreen, you can't just pull the screen.
Oh really? Your computer's a lot cooler than mine. Right, they have these other buttons down in here that I can click on that I can browse. So I know I don't have to go to the Wall Street Journal website to read about the latest news or trending topics or today's markets. I can view all that information within Facebook Messenger itself and never leave.
Do you have a subscription to Wall Street Journal in order to get that?
No,
Or,
no.
this is just
No,
automatically
yeah.
out to Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then here's an e-commerce example from 1-800-Flowers. So again, I can click order now and start picking out flowers, that I would want to get for my wife right there all through Facebook Messenger. So 3 different examples there: food, news, and e-commerce. Obviously, this can be applied to literally any industry. So there, if people will say, "Oh, well, this wouldn't apply to my target market," there's always a use, right? So, for example, if you have a very, very niche product, you can just do FAQs right in here. Stuff that you get on your website all along. You can do a quiz and stuff like that. So any industry can utilize these bots.
So it's not like a charge per click type thing at all.
No.
It's just a subscription and that's all.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier, these are the top 2 bot providers: ManyChat, ChatFuel. My recommendation is ManyChat. Okay, so that was Messenger itself and then Messenger bots. So now I'm going to move on to the third part, which is Messenger ads. So Messenger ads got released in November of 2016. So they're almost a year old, which makes them not brand new, but somewhat new. Most people still aren't using Messenger ads. Soon Facebook will be adding a messages goal for their campaign options, which I'm really excited about. So whenever you create a Facebook campaign, you pick your goal, right? You can do reach, conversions, clicks, stuff like that. And so previously, when you're running Messenger ads, you had to click, or you had to choose the clicks option. You didn't have another choice. But now, as Messenger ads are becoming more prominent, there's going to be a messages goal that you can choose for your campaign. And so the algorithm will optimize your ad to receive messages and not just clicks. 2 different placements when it comes to Messenger ads. There's Messenger as a destination, which opens up a message within Facebook itself, meaning someone sees your ad, they click on it, and then the Messenger pops up, and then they start interacting with your bot, assuming you have one. Or there's Messenger as a placement, meaning that you actually have a subscriber list, and then you send them a blast, just like you would via email. So they receive a sponsored message within their Messenger inbox. So those are really good for example, for flash sales or product updates or anything like that. And you can target anyone with Messenger ads. No restrictions on that. So here's an example of Messenger ads as a destination. Zoom in on this. So this is the ad itself, and it says learn more. And what it does, when you click on that, instead of going to a website, it just pops up Messenger itself, and it gives the person the coupon that was advertised right here. So that's Messenger as a destination. Click the ad, open up a message.
Is that with the bot?
Yes, this is their bot.
So if you click on the Find Nearby Store, the hours does it take you off-site?
It depends how they set up their bot. So all these buttons down here that you've been seeing for the different bot examples, you have several choices of what those can do, right? They can just show you more messages within Messenger itself. It can click over to a website, or it can you can have it make a phone call. So those are your three options.
So they do allow you to leave the platform at least.
They do, yeah, yeah.
Once they click an action, a message pops up, does that automatically subscribe them to?
Yes, great question. Thank you for asking that. So again, once this person clicks the ad and Messenger pops up, they start interacting with a bot that's set up here. That person is automatically a subscriber to your bot. Now they can unsubscribe, and it's always good to make that very clear to people because you don't want angry people getting messages later on. But yeah, once the very second they start interacting with your bot, they're automatically a subscriber.
So do you find a big price difference between Messenger ads versus like engagement or any other types of ads on Facebook?
I mean, Messenger ads are typically used for very different, I guess, purposes, right? So for example, you know, here just getting a quick coupon, stuff like that. You know, whereas if you're selling a product, like I said, not everyone can sell products on Messenger yet. So for a lot of people, you still have to send them over to your website. So you wouldn't use a Messenger ad.
Yeah.
So as it stands, it's kind of hard to make a comparison in terms of cost because for now, at least, people are using the Messenger ads for slightly different purposes than they would a traditional ad. But the cool thing is, and I'll get into this later, there is a way to get a lot of engagement with your ad. Obviously, a lot of engagement gives you a higher relevance score, which means cheaper clicks, cheaper conversions, this, that, and the other. So I'll get into how to do that a little bit later on.
One more question. So for this type of ad, they click the learn more, message pops up.
Yes.
With ManyChat, you can also have it where if they reply to that, where it's type yes in the comment below, and then it will message them too, right?
Yes, that's the comment to message feature.
So you can integrate both of those with ManyChat. Well, I guess just one, but it'll also work with. Will this ad integrate with ManyChat? So if it pops up, you can remarket to them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And, okay, so another question about the unsubscribe. So when they click on it, you said that you need to tell them that they can unsubscribe. So is that the first thing that they get? They get like the first. No,
I mean, again, you can set it up any way you want. So if you want the very first message, say, hey, if you want to unsubscribe, you know, do this. I don't recommend that. You know, you know, if they see an offer, you show them the offer first.
Right.
But at a certain point, you do want to make it clear, like, hey, if you want to unsubscribe, all you have to do is X, and you can set up X to be whatever you want.
Right. But not this first time.
No, yeah.
Maybe the third time out that they get a message, you want to say that. And so you can set the bot up to say, on the third time that the person clicks, they get the unsubscribe message. Well,
I mean, they wouldn't be clicking on the ad a bunch of times, right? But what you can do is, for example, they get this offer in their Messenger, and you tell your bot, hey, 1 day later, 2 days later, 3 days later, tell them that if they want to unsubscribe, this is how they do it. So you can actually do like a drip campaign within Messenger, where it's like on day 1, they receive this. On day 3, they receive this. Day 5, they receive that. Just like email. So like, literally everything you can do with email, you can pretty much do with Messenger.
Where did that ad come from exactly?
This is on the news feed.
Sorry?
On the Facebook news feed.
Okay, so that's a Facebook ad.
Correct.
And basically the link just goes to that.
Yes.
So you don't even need a website.
No, you don't. Yeah.
Like,
if you have a really terrible website, you don't want to send people there, but you still want to make money, then you
But it
can
doesn't
probably figure out
capture
a
their
way.
information though, right?
It captures their Facebook information.
Name, phone number, email.
No, you just get their Facebook
IDs.
IDs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can always ask them for it.
Yeah.
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 Hey, get
And you know
10% off.
what? I'll get into that later.
So for placing order, you still need to redirect them to a site though, as
Yeah.
of now.
For most people, yes. Like I said, Facebook is slowly rolling out where eventually everyone's going to be able to order within Messenger itself. So I don't know when that is, but maybe 2018, something like that. So soon enough, like Chris said, you won't need a website.
And if you have a restaurant and right about lunchtime, by 11 o'clock, before people get hungry, hey, we have a 15% off for your burgers. Come to the Habit or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I would go
Yeah.
because I'm thinking, where am I going to eat? And if I get it at an opportune time, that's a perfect planting of the seeds, especially if it's a promo.
Yeah. And speaking of restaurants, what I've seen some restaurants do, which is really, really cool, is that for their bots, they'll put their whole menu on there, right? So you click on entrees, you see the entrees. You click on appetizers, you see the whole appetizer menu. And so before you actually even go to the restaurant, you can already figure out what you want to order before walking in, which is really cool. All right, so the other placement is Messenger itself as a placement. So think of this again as email. Once someone interacts with your bot, they become a subscriber, and then you can send a message out to all your subscribers or just a portion of them, whatever you want to do. And so they'll get a private message within their Facebook Messenger. Again, you're only limited to people who have interacted with you before. So thankfully, that's a good thing because a lot of marketers, if you could target anyone and stuff a message in their inbox, there would be a lot of spam. But so you can only target people who have interacted with you before. You get charged per impression, even if the recipient doesn't open the message. However, the hack is just use a bot, right? So you can do this Messenger as a placement without a bot, but if you're using a bot, then you just use your subscriber list. And so based on the number of subscribers, ManyChat, again, as the example, if you have less than 500, then it's free. If you have more than 500, then it's only $10 a month. And you can message people unlimited for those $10 a month. So I don't recommend, if you're going to do Messenger as a placement, I don't recommend doing it through Facebook itself. I recommend using it through the bot because it's going to be a lot cheaper. Messenger as a placement. Open rates often range from 60 to 90%, which is astronomical. You compare that to email, like a very good email open rate, 30%, something like that. But this is 60 to 90%, and it makes sense, right? Because, for example, right here on my phone,
only text beats that.
Yeah, seriously, right? I have the Messenger app, right, which is I mentioned earlier. It's separate from the Facebook app. If I open that, Facebook Messenger opens up, not Facebook itself. Anytime I get something on my Messenger, I open it, right? It's just the way it is right now, right? Because I know it's something that I've either interacted with or a friend. Email, though, I just need to read the headline and I delete it if I don't want to read it, right? So that's why these open rates for Messenger as a placement are really, really high. And so it's really cool to see that kind of success.
Now, do you get stats as well of who clicked on links or anything?
Yes. So that'll depend on which bot you're using. But yeah, they all give you stats.
Cool. That's awesome.
So again, I already mentioned this earlier, but placement ads, again, they're very good if you're announcing flash sales or new product launches, stuff like that. Anything that you would blast out your email list for, you can use for the same purposes within Messenger.
And that's cost, is it?
Well, it depends, right? So again, using ManyChat as the example, if you have less than 500 subscribers, you have the free version. But yeah, but if you have more than 500, then you have to pay $10 a month.
So you send your message for your launch out the bot.
Yes. I mean, you can, like I said, you can do it through Facebook as well, but it's be more expensive.
Yes.
So do it through the bot. Okay, so here's an example of trying to tie everything together, destination ad plus a bot. So here's actually one that I put together. So here's the ad itself. It just says need help engaging with your audience. Try bot, blah, blah, blah. What it says is not really that important. However, one thing that is really cool is that if you look at that last paragraph, if I zoom in on that, it says all you have to do is comment below with the words try bot and follow the instructions that appear in Facebook Messenger. So, Stephen, that goes back to what you were saying earlier, right? So this person down here, right, they typed try bot, and then they get the messenger, the bot in their messenger. So that's a really great way to get more engagement on your ads, because Facebook rewards your ads for engagement. You get a higher relevance score, which means you get a lower cost per click. So literally, you're telling people, comment on this ad. I'm going to send you what I'm promising you in the ad itself, and then you're going to get the message. So you get all these comments on your ad that you normally wouldn't, because people will simply normally just click on your ad. But in this case, they're commenting on your ad, and then they get the information. So like I said, this person commented. They put the keyword, try bot. You can choose any keyword that you want, and then here they are interacting with my bot. So again, this is not me or anyone else doing these responses. It's fully automated with this person just simply interacting one-on-one with the bot itself.
And they know it's the bot, huh?
Yes.
Huh.
Which actually, I'm really glad you mentioned that. If you set up a bot, I highly, highly recommend that you state that they're talking to a bot, somewhere along the way. Don't make it look like they're talking to an actual human being, because eventually they're going to figure out it's not a human being, and then that'll just come off as inauthentic. So just always, right off bat, if you can, in a non-awkward way, state that they're chatting to a bot.
And now, can I ask you about reviews? So does this mean that you're getting more reviews and therefore you're going higher up on some?
Oh, that's a good question.
You know what I mean?
The more interaction that you get higher, your ads starts to show more automatically?
Well, yeah, because if you get more comments, you're going to get a higher relevance score. And if you have a higher relevance score, Facebook will show your ad more often. And you'll get cheaper clicks.
Wow.
So continuing this example, so you can get really ninja eventually with this. So here, I'm blocking this person's identity, but they go through the whole bot. I ask them a question like, hey, do you want any help with this? They say yes. And so the bot says, sweet, I'll need some basic info before we can jump on a call together. And so I have the bots, again, not me, ask the person their phone number, their email, their website URL, what industry they're in, and what their budget is. And then with Zapier, which is an integration tool which allows different platforms to communicate with one another.
Is that like Hootsuite?
No, it's very different from Hootsuite. So I connected my bot to Zapier, and then Zapier sends their information to a Google Sheet automatically. So really, really cool to do that. So you collect all the information right then and there. You don't need a landing page. Don't need a separate website. Just collect all the information right there. Have it sent to a Google Sheet, or if you have a CRM like Zoho, Zapier integrates with just about every single CRM that there is out there, and everything's just fully automated right in there. So that goes back to what you were saying earlier. How can you collect their phone number and stuff like that? That's the easiest way to do it.
Do you see a better engagement rate with bots, with messenger apps, ads?
So yeah, what I will say though is that it's not for every audience. If you have a very engaged audience, it'll work very well. If you're I'm trying to think of a good industry example, but I don't know, some industry where people, it's a product or service that they have to buy, but not because they want it, they just have to. Then this type of ad may not work as well because this is just not going to be a very engaging audience. So I will say it certainly does vary from industry to industry. But if you are in an industry where there is a highly engaged audience, then yes.
See, I think it's really important to stress how fantastic this is, because without even gathering the people's information, if you're trying to just gather a lead, you need to get their name, email, whatever. You send them to a landing page. The barrier to entry to getting them from Facebook to your landing page to them filling out information is like here. Getting them to click on a button, boom, you got them caught inside pretty much an autoresponder immediately. So you can remarket to them as much as you want. That's a heck of a lower barrier to entry. Then you ask them the same exact questions you would on a regular, type of ad. What's your name? So it's like lower barrier to entry. You can always remarket to them. Then you ask them those same questions, and it's like you can just because I was running a real estate campaign, and that was one of the things. It's like, oh, there's a drop off here. How can we? This is going to fix it.
And that's what I was wondering, like, you
Yeah.
could ask somebody.
I'll show you the campaign. I'll show you a campaign that worked really well.
Good.
Okay, so any questions about this whole setup of the destination ad with the bot example? All good. All right.
You can zap it right to Aweber too, right? Aweber,
Yes.
anything
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
connects to-
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, Zapier integrates with just
Yeah.
about everything. So.
Oh, this is exciting.
Yeah. Okay, so that was a lot of information. Obviously, hopefully you found it valuable. So hopefully also that it wasn't very intimidating. It may have seemed intimidating, but it's really not that difficult to get started, right? So here are just some quick action items I listed. Just install a chatbot. It's super, super easy. All you have to do is be logged into Facebook, go to ManyChat or whatever chat provider or bot tool you prefer, click a button, and then boom, it's integrated. You start building your message sequence. That's going to be specific to your target audience. Start simple. Do not try to go super crazy at the beginning. I promise you, if you try to do some crazy sequence for your first time, you're going to go mad, absolutely mad. So just do something simple, get the hang of it, and then you can upgrade from there. Start running messenger destination ads to build your list, because again, anyone that interacts with your messenger becomes a subscriber to your bot. And then eventually you can start sending sponsored messages to your list. So I wanted to show this because I think this chart here is very relevant to messenger ads. So this is a very common chart that's used for a lot of things. It's the innovation adoption lifecycle. And so this just shows the progression of pretty much any technology and how it's adopted and with the percentage of people that start using it. So, at the beginning, 2.5% only are the innovators. Then you have 13.5% as early adopters. And then you have the early majority at 34%, late majority at 34%, and then the laggards at 16%. Right now, Facebook Messenger marketing is over here in the very, very early stages. You don't want to find yourself over here being very late in adopting this new form of marketing. The sooner you start doing this, again, it may not be a priority right now, but just get started early, mess around with it a little bit, and there's a very high chance that it'll pay off in the long run. I mean, just think about when email first came out and how huge that was for businesses, right? It changed everything. I'm not saying messenger marketing is going to change everything, but I think it's going to certainly have a very, very big impact. So the sooner you get started, the better off you'll be. And then one last thing I also want to say is that earlier this year, Facebook ran out of inventory space for their ads, meaning that literally their auction is 100% full. Meaning the impressions are going down, cost per clicks are going up. I mean, it's still very cheap, very affordable, very powerful. I'm not saying go away from regular Facebook ads, but it's just becoming more competitive. This is a very good way to kind of try to get away from that. And actually, Facebook is making that effort, right? They don't want all these ads being stuffed into a newsfeed. They're all about the consumer experience. And so this is just another way of communicating with people via ads that's not on the newsfeed. And so you can try to avoid some of that really, really heavy competition that's starting to appear for Facebook ads. And that's it. Any other questions?
Yeah,
Huh?
that's my question.
What do I do?
Her question, I'm asking. Yeah, what do you do?
So I do digital marketing, and I specialize purely in paid advertising. So Google AdWords, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, any pay-to-play model is what I focus on. So I don't do any SEO, for example, or stuff like that. Just purely pay-to-play models.
Do you do cyber consulting?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If anybody ever needs an AdWords consultant of any sort, this guy is honestly one of the best. I mean,
Did you bring your cards?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
He's amazing. The guy is, I highly recommend. I mean, I taught him some of the stuff early, and now I bow to the master. I'm serious. The guy, you know what it is? He's also a business analyst. You have a master's degree from Pepperdine in business. He's an MBA, and his data analytical business skills his Excel skills. This is mind-blowing. Plus, Google Analytics. I don't know how he figures out what he does with Google Analytics, but that is one of the most powerful data processing tools. To gather data on what's going on the web. He's an analytics master. He's taught a presentation on analytics before. I still don't get it. He's so far ahead on so many things. I mean, it's amazing what this guy can do with so many digital marketing side. I mean, I cannot say enough about how good he is at what he does in marketing.
So for the integration between ManyChat and the ad account, can you use one ManyChat account with multiple ad accounts?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So ManyChat, it has just a drop-down menu in the upper left corner, and you can choose the ad account that you want to use. Yeah. Any other questions? All right, cool. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay, so we have about 25 minutes. So does anybody have any questions regarding this or other stuff? Oh, by the way, I did want to talk about how many of you are Twitter users? They're now doubled the character count on Twitter. So when you're talking about Messenger, one of the reasons is with Twitter's actually been losing some of its actual, I guess, hold in the market. They have to find ways to make more revenue, to attract more people. They're having more character counts. One of the reasons being is that because Facebook's so powerful, because there is no limit. And you can see some of the posts and advertisements, even the examples that he had. I mean, you need to tell a story. 144 characters wasn't enough. Now, Twitter has its purpose for very specific things, and people who are really good at it are really good at it. But a lot of people stayed away from it because it just takes too much time to think to get a good message in a small amount. So I don't know how people can destroy their credibility with that tool. So easily too, but nonetheless, it is a very powerful. So that's one thing that's actually probably going to start seeing a whole new potential user base coming in with a little more characters, because now you can give a better, stronger, longer message with it. Marketing takes content to go and get out there. Yeah.
Are you seeing it with nonprofits? Messenger? Are you seeing?
I mean, I personally haven't seen it, but I can see no reason why they shouldn't be, right? I mean, it can certainly work for donations. Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, because Messenger already integrates with PayPal and stuff like that. So a nonprofit could certainly integrate that and start receiving donations within Messenger itself.
I have another question. Yeah. Is there a book that you can recommend that gives you like the basics for people like me that's just getting started with this?
If somebody wrote one that was good, I would highly recommend one, but I have not come one that was just really basic. The thing is, there's so many marketing avenues on the internet. You got to choose one that's going to be for your need. If you try to pick 5, you're going to burn yourself out trying to figure all of them out at one time. Picking one and then going after whatever you feel most comfortable is where I'd recommend you starting. Or hire somebody who's going to take a channel that's going to be for your business, depending on what business you're in. So that's how you're going to have to look at it. There's no one book. I mean, there's probably one book on each different one, because there's a book on Pinterest marketing, there's a book on Facebook marketing, there's books on AdWords marketing, all separate, but not one general how to get started on just internet marketing.
It seems to me that since this is the future, you might want to start.
You know what?
Start with this.
Just know, we talked about kind of this cycle. This is a cycle that goes with all different internet marketing type new things that come out, regardless if it's email marketing going through it. The problem is, if it does pick up speed, if you don't get in early now and you learn it, by the time if you get in the late majority when everybody starts big corporations, that's when all the limitations get put on it, even including email. That's when we start to hit the early or late majority, then they put all the canned spam laws into place. The thing is, you are playing on Facebook's playground. When it starts to actually go crazy with it and people start getting upset because, oh, I don't like Messenger anymore, there's too many ads, they're going to start limiting stuff in it. So right now, it's early. You might as well jump in and see what you can do. I'd say take advantage of it, especially if you are on Facebook. You know. Okay. Anybody else have any questions or any industry news that's going on?
I have a question, but I'm trying to compose it in my mind. I've been having some issues with the site as far as it ranks really well on certain keywords, but I've noticed that even like a lot of my competitors that really appear to not do anything on their site are starting to outrank me. And I'm trying to figure out exactly what are they doing, or maybe what I'm not doing. And I just can't figure out exactly what it is. And I've been kind of looking at some of the analytics as far as the bounce rate, the website speed. I'm trying to figure out exactly what's going on, and I've been kind of just.
What about your backlinks?
I'm sorry, no, they have nothing, like zero, nothing, and like we have a lot of backlinks. It's just like I can't figure out why we're not ranking better than we were.
An internal backlink?
Yeah.
So you look to see what they have coming to the site. How about content? How big is their content?
Nothing. They have no blog posts. We have like over 100. Like constantly, we're in posts and content, social media. It's like I can't
post link to each other. That's
yes,
important.
I link them all to each other.
Hmm.
I just can't figure out what it is. And I can only think maybe it's a bounce rate, maybe it's website speed. So I'm kind of frustrated at this point because we see other people that are really not doing anything, and they're ranking better than you. You're doing a lot of work, and it's just like, what's going on here? But maybe it's my site. Maybe I'm not doing something right. I just feel like maybe Google isn't fully understanding what we specialize in. It's hard to say.
Well, yeah, I know Google's starting to punish a lot more. I guess kind of like I don't want to call them like niche items, right? So, for example, you said it yourself, website speed. If Google detects that your website is slow, they'll start punishing your organic rankings. If your website is not mobile optimized, they'll start punishing your organic rankings. If you don't have HTTPS, right? If you're just plain old HTTP, not HTTPS, they'll start punishing you for that. So they're starting to move away more from keywords and only looking at keywords and looking at other factors. So it could be just one of those other non-keyword factors that is making you lose your organic rankings.
That's a really good point. There is a technical SEO guy that I know that it's not about content per se. I mean, everybody can write good content, everybody can write it. So everybody use that. The name or the game that actually he's playing more so that I see, and this is a multi-billion-dollar industry that he's doing a lot of it, is the technical SEO. Like you were saying, this is your site speeders, different things. This is your coding, schema data. All of that stuff that's in the back end now, SEO is getting a little more sophisticated at a higher level. It actually takes a little more technical skill than it used to in the past. Before, you could just use a WordPress site, make sure that your tags are in the right places and you have the right thing. And if you did it well enough and you stayed consistent, like you said, you keep working at it, you could normally outrank other people. I have seen, like you said, where other sites are just coming behind, where the technical SEO is actually what's beginning to win. I don't have an answer for you as to what, but maybe I can actually ask him if he would give me like the top 20 things that technical SEOs really look at and how they can make small adjustments to make a difference. Because a lot of times it's like maybe 4 of the top 20 that actually you might be lacking that your competitors, are taking advantage of that you just need to come up on. And sometimes a lot of it is dealing with coding and structure. So that's another thing. Still, interlinking within your site. I mean, you've been around and I understand your level. You're definitely above intermediate when it comes to SEO. So if something is making the other sites start to beat you out a little more, they could be hiring higher end technical SEOs now. Technical SEOs get paid big bucks. So are your competitors, are they high volume? I mean, is that what you're being noticing too, or?
It's hard to say. I mean, some of them, I would say, as far as product, they're definitely larger companies that have been around longer.
Mm-hmm.
But for example, like one of the companies, he was on like, for my keyword that I target is like vintage Tron parts.
Mm-hmm.
They're usually like on the second page, 5th down. And then like one day it's like they're on the, like number 10 rank on the first. And then now he's like number 2, like the person that's been in the number 2 spot for like a year, he's already bumped him down. It's just like, but looking at the site, I mean, just, physically looking at it, it looks the same. So I don't know what he's got going behind the scene, but it's like, what is different? I mean, as far as what I can see, it's just the page speed. And I've always had issues with my site having a high page speed. I've taken down banners, everything is just about as basic as you're gonna get, and it's like 8 seconds.
What about domain strength versus,
I think Moz says like ours is a 23 and theirs would be like a 10. And then, and then we'll have like a page authority will be like a 30 something, and backlinks is like, I don't know, like I guess 17 trusted, and they'll have like 2. And it's just like, what's going on here? It's just like,
geographically, are they closer? That's a big factor now. A lot of people don't realize geography. I mean, Google's pinging everybody's location, and they really do. It makes a huge difference on ranking on where you're located, or
so maybe put in a zip code when you put the keyword in search and see if you're at the top.
Okay.
So you can like search over there where the store is if you're not at the store, because it's pinging your spot, right?
Oh, based off like on your phone, like it'll say like where your location is at.
If you're 91386 and the store's in 7, And they're closer over there. It's probably gonna bring up people.
That's a good suggestion.
You know, how old, how long ago did this happen with it, that they switched rank?
Probably about 2 months ago. I looked at like the analytics on the sessions. I read that if you check the sessions, it usually and everything from like 2000 and I don't remember, like 14, it's just living up. We have like some slight little drop, but everything's been up and up and up and up. And it's just like, it's very strange. I'm like, I know when I do like blog posts, I notice things, like blog posts will always be like the first one. We'll have like a little rich snippet, and then our products, they don't really rank that well. And it's very strange. Like you can't really see our products in Google, but you'll see all of our blog posts and all the content. So I kind of rely now on blog posts just to drive in traffic and email marketing. So I don't know, it's very interesting. It's just one of the things that you scratch your head and be like, what's going on? But there's got to be something behind it.
Have you tried shop on Google? Did you do?
We do it.
You do shop on? Do you get a lot of sales
I
through
always
it?
start ranking improved the second we did it.
Yeah, that's a. You know, yeah, you can go to the shopping tab, and if you then all of a sudden you're with everybody else, and then they actually buy through Google, and you get sent the information to ship it out. Is that correct? And so, yeah, and I've heard that Google does give some benefit to vendors that are using that tool. I didn't know people actually buy through Google. It's kind of crazy. And they're looking to take on Amazon.
Yeah.
That way. It's pretty neat.
And Walmart just opened up to us little guys. So we're gonna have 140 items on Walmart shopping probably by the end of the month.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, because they froze us out. I mean, we tried to get on and said, you're too tiny. Well, okay, so they've opened that up. We think that's gonna be very exciting. But, you know, Amazon is like, that's the guy you kind of love to hate. And, you know, they get more than they share.
Interesting.
A lot of people are dropping out of Amazon now, because Amazon's direct competitors.
Yeah, Amazon Basics, they know all that. If you have a really hot selling product, you run the risk of them going and getting an identical product and making improvements. They know what people are looking for, and they'll just kill you in price. Just
Talking about Amazon?
Yeah.
I was
Amazon Basics.
I was reading in Forbes, I think it was, or Barron's, one of the two, where there was a guy that had a lap board where you could sit near. They had put your laptop or whatever, iPad, whatever that. And he had a patent on a certain part of it. And the lawyers at Amazon, and he was doing I think they said 46,000 a month in business with this thing. And Amazon, their lawyers got a hold of the patent, bypassed the patent, went to China, had one almost identical. And all of a sudden the guy went from #1 to page 3. And guess who was #1? Amazon Basics.
Yeah.
Did he win?
Yeah, you know why they can
No,
build
he didn't
a
win.
million square foot
It's
facility.
Amazon's platform. You can't beat them.
But what about the patent?
No, I mean the patent. I mean, did he sue them for the
No,
patent?
because they bypassed the patent.
How can you bypass the patent?
Yeah, if you know how you do it, you just modify it just enough
You
so
just
that.
modify it enough to
Because they didn't tear it apart and copy it. They just took what it did and then made an idea from the idea that they got. And then
Which is exactly what Walmart used to do. People come in and they would just basically go ahead and grab another vendor that was way cheaper and outsell you and just, I mean, you get the glory in the beginning, but then you have to watch out because if they see the profits come in, they make their own and find out who's going to do it. And Amazon's the same way. But Amazon's still a great way to start building your following.
Yeah.
Sell product, stick a little flyer in there along with it as part of your packaging. And, you know, I mean, start finding ways to go ahead and make sure
They
you
discourage
invest
that,
in.
but I think a lot of people do it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you just put it in there, you know, for customer satisfaction. They expect that you get in every product, right? But you can find ways to go ahead and now find ways to get your customers engaged so that they're part of your.
If I buy tea off of Amazon, I usually get like a 10% discount card if I buy from their website. Redeemable only at the website.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's what we used to do when we were on eBay. We just want we didn't even want to do anything with eBay. As soon as they buy something, we go use that as a gateway to go to the website.
Yeah. Because you can build a customer list. You know, I mean, that's a great way to get people that are interested in your stuff already. So that's the ways to do it. I mean, major retailers, they use every platform possible. Amazon, eBay. I mean, company I work for like, has 7 or 8 different platforms that they sell their products through. You know, it's amazing. Everywhere I look, it's all over the place.
Don't start with Amazon because they're gonna copy you, and you have no way to drive your price down because you don't have all the things working. If you're gonna go to Amazon, be already accredited and all the other things. So when you do go, they copy you. You can just go, okay, I'll copy you. I'll take it down a notch.
I have a friend
have all
in
the other
China.
things that work.
I have a friend in England who's Chinese. And she goes to China all the time. She says that Amazon is giving courses and stuff
to manufacturers.
To manufacturers on how to list their products on Amazon.
Yep. They've been doing it for a while too.
Yeah, sometimes you go on AliExpress, right? A lot of people are sourcing from AliExpress. You go on AliExpress, you look at the price. You go to Amazon, the price is cheaper on Amazon.
Yeah,
so they're doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, they got their own Chinese manufacturers.
Yeah.
So, anybody else got any questions? Anything else that's going on? Want to share? I have a question. I don't know if anybody's done it, but does anybody have ideas or, I guess, sources on building physical product from scratch?
What do you mean?
I do on occasion.
How do do you like if you have a design or an idea? What is your normal process that you go through?
It depends. If it's complicated, I might take it to a engineer and have them get they'll build a prototype, which we can make drawings off of. But a lot of times I'll be just talking to somebody, like I had an idea for some items made out of material, and I found a guy out in Sonoma's by the Sonoma's Nut House. They sell nuts, by the way. It's not a sanitary. Right across the street, and I just went in there and I said, "This is what I'm looking for." And he made me some prototypes. We started manufacturing them, and they worked out pretty well. Eventually, I took the designs to China, and now we get them by the container load.
Wow.
You know, but there's just a way. I mean, if you know what you want, what's it made out of, and find somebody that can do prototypes. I have a neighbor who makes prototypes.
So how did you find a nut house neighbor guy?
I just started searching around for people that did sewing, industrial sewing. And I talked to a company in Sunland, and I said, "Here's what I'm trying to do." And they said, "Well, that's a little small for us, but there's a guy in Somas out here that might be perfect for you." So I called him up, I drove out there, and I sat with him and his pop. And they showed me all the stuff they're making. It was exhilarating to see all the little items that they were making for horses and helicopters, and they make covers for the helicopter blades. And I mean, it's just things you just don't think of.
Yeah.
And we just started penciling it out. They kind of knew what they were doing. They made one. I said, "That's great. Let's modify this and this." And pretty soon we had a working setup. I've also made sketches and sent them to China and gotten prototypes, which were astoundingly good.
I have my ex-partner's son sells a lot of bags and things on Amazon, but what he does is he'll go out to the Coach outlet, and he'll talk to the ladies there. What's the #1 seller? And he'll buy it, and he sends it to a bag manufacturer in China. Says, "I want something identical, but no names on it, whatever." And he sends it there. They make a prototype, send it back. If it's what he wants, he'll order 100 of them, sent direct to Amazon. And then he takes a bag back to Coach and says, "Girlfriend doesn't like it." But he sells stuff all day long. Computer bags, all kinds of stuff. But that's the way he does it.
That's great. He puts his own name on it as
he puts his own name, doesn't say Coach anywhere.
I say Roach.
And the catch is different. You always make sure the catch is a little different.
Oh, so I did want to ask, based on what they said, because like I said, if we don't come up with a solution to help them with revenue, It said they may actually,
You know, you might mention that we're kind of a techie crowd, we're not likely to buy a book when we get it on Kindle.
I want to. But, I was thinking,
salesman.
Don't they own Kindle?
No, they have.
they're the Nook.
Oh, okay, right, get it on the Nook, that's what I meant to say.
And actually, you can order it through them, you can have a Nook app on your phone. So you can, just like Kindle, it works kind of the same way in that way as well. So I will let
I'll
them know
buy
that
a
too.
profit first.
Actually, it's interesting, latest sales trends have actually saying physical book sales are beginning to increase again. I guess,
I'm sorry, I was late for your presentation, so I don't know what you're talking about.
oh, basically Barnes and Noble has actually gently told us that they appreciate us bringing people here, but they're not making any money from it, based on the numbers that they've been seeing. So they need, for business sense, they need to go ahead and find a way to make revenue from the groups that meet here. They recommended anything from asking people to all buy a drink before they come in, or
They roll in a car, coffee and donuts.
you know what? They actually would. So I was wondering,
Tell them that.
would anybody object to actually having a collection of $3 per person with free coffee? Well, not free, because obviously you're helping compensate for it. Coffee and pastries will be laid out here. If there's anything that's above and beyond what needs to be paid, I'll cover the cost. Honestly, it'll be.
Well, let's just buy our own.
Let me get Diet Coke in there, I'll buy the big ones out.
And another thing is that if there is more than what's actually there, like say we have $20 extra above what was left, I'll buy a gift card and wrap it off at the end of the evening. So all the money goes back into the store. And just the fact that I suggested it to her, she was really excited because she's always concerned that people get upset about, but she said, yeah, we'll work with, because she said, other than that, the last part says, consider, some groups consider maybe paying even a $50 fee for the room itself, which is really cheap for a room to be, for an hour and a half that we use, that's really cheap.
When's the cafe close?
I think they open all the way till they close, which is 11. So they open pretty late. But again, December, we will not be having a meetup. They're going to be using the room for Christmas. But we will be having on November 7th is the first Tuesday of the month. We will be here in November. And then hopefully I can have a suggestion or solution for it. But I'm thinking $3 is not a lot, plus you get coffee and pastry if you want. I think a lot of the pastries cost about $3 anyway. And it'll be completely on the honor system. If somebody does not pay on that, I don't, it's fine,
Why 3 as opposed to 5?
Right.
3.
Less than five.
No, but 5 is a decent price.
Higher version.
You're allowed to put five in.
Well,
You can add more to it if you want.
I guess it's 5 is, 5 is,
You have to make change for people.
that's true, I wouldn't have to, yeah. We can do 5 as well. An email will go out for it. And if you come and you don't know about it, please have a seat anyway. You do not have, it's not going to be required to pay. It's so that we're going to be asking for that to cover the cost of helping them compensate for us using the room.
What is that, sir?
I'm sorry?
Next one?
It'll probably start on November 2nd. So at least we can show good faith. Like the book, if she had the book, I was telling her we would sell the book for sure, especially the big leap. Because I told her I would buy it. And I was just told we'd give it away for Christmas, as gifts when Christmas time comes around, but I pick me up stuff.
Will she have the big leap on the November?
She told me she would. So, yes, we'll go ahead and.
Can we make a list for people who want the big leap?
Yes,
So that she
actually.
knows how many people want it, because I would like it, and I would probably come on November 1st if you have it.
Oh, yeah. So you know what? Do me a favor and give me your, if you don't mind me taking your name and your phone number. And then what I'll do is I'll tell her, call me when it comes in, so that I'll just text her, say, hey, the book is there. It'll be helpful.
Yeah, for the November, the November.
Oh, yeah, so for November, we can do that as well.
Yeah,
So.
we're just, and then that supports the meeting, and I probably won't be done with that book. So I'm gonna buy this book tonight, and then I would like to big leap when I come in November. And then you
Yeah,
sell.
I'll make
for
sure
the-
I change that right now.
So
So don't
something I
forget.
can meet up for you.
Yes.
Just around the corner.
That is, in your business, super powerful.
Yeah.
Imagine.
That one an influencer.
I have that one.
I think I need to
I
start.
have it. I read it. I
No,
bought it a long time ago. Maybe you even recommended it.
Oh, yeah.
I have it on- I can't-